morning, listeners at home. It's a pleasure to welcome you to another edition of Issues That Matter on City Mirror TV. I'm your host, Boluwatifeya Dedegun. And happy Good Friday. On today's show, we still have our special person here with us, our guest, our amiable comrade Emmanuel Olowu. He's the Executive Director of Social, Economic and Civic Rights Advocacy, SECRA. Executive Director of Social, Economic and Civic Rights Advocacy, SECRA. And he will be discussing the issues that is happening in our country with us today on the show. Welcome, Mr. Emmanuel. You can introduce yourself properly to our audience.
It's a pleasure. Good morning once again. Happy Good Friday to every Christians across the world. My name is Comrade Olowu Emmanuel, the Executive Director of Social, Economic and Civic Rights Advocacy based in Osun State.
Okay, today we will be talking about a news. And according to our President, Tinubu orders deployment of 5,000 AI-enabled digital camera network to combat insecurity in Plateau. That is what we'll be discussing today, but let me just get to the body of the story before we continue. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday assured the people of Plateau State that the federal government will deploy an artificial intelligence-enabled network of over 5,000 digital cameras to help law enforcement agencies combat insecurity in the state. Tinubu made the promise in an address during his visit to Jos, the Plateau State capital, in the aftermath of the March 29 gun attacks that claimed the lives of innocent citizens in the Angwan Rukuba district of Jos North local government area. It comes from the government of the state saying, "I promise you that this experience will not repeat itself." Now let's go to the issue. We know how insecurity has been in our country for the past few years. Now the issue of Plateau, and the president all of a sudden just thought the only solution will be to just to bring artificial intelligence enabled camera. Do you think this is the solution we need presently? Do you think this will stop insecurity in our country?
Yes, it's a pleasure once again. I think we should have to make it clear this morning. I would refer to what Mr. President has said as a misplacement of priority. We cannot start or begin to act or say we want to solve the problem of insecurity and we are taking the solutions from the upper part. We have to go back to the root and to the foundation. If President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is telling us today that he wants to reintroduce a camera, is it a camera? Are we talking about a camera that is going to only cover the Plateau district axis? Or we are talking about a camera that is going to cover the entire Nigeria as a country? Because as we speak, every part of Nigeria is presently feeling the heat of insecurity. Kwara State is feeling the heat as we speak. A lot of states in the southwestern part of Nigeria are really feeling the heat. So what Mr. President is claiming that they are going to deploy is a misplacement of priority to me. Because there are some issues, there are some things that we have to look into. What is the cause of this insecurity? We have to immediately look at that, and the Nigerian government have to be serious with it. The situation whereby when people who are criminals, who are bandits, are being caught, and in the names of the fact that they are renouncing banditry, they are all retrained and sent back into the Nigerian army. It's indicating that the solution to this problem cannot be solved at the earliest possible time.
Okay, now you said it's a misplacement of priority because it can't solve the problem in the whole country. Now, are you saying that it will even solve the problem in that Plateau State?
We should make it clear. When we talk about misplacement of priority, it is so elaborate. In the first instance, that cannot solve the problem of that axis. Because those who are even carrying out the operations, they are not even bothered about them being arrested. They are not even bothered about them being seen on camera. They are not even bothered about them being captured. They are trained. You see, it's an organized crime. It's an organized training process that people who are embarking on this suicide mission and attacks are people who have taken a resolution that we want to go out and kill. So what we are trying to, because these people are not people that, even when you arrest them, they don't even bother they are being arrested or they are being taken to court or they want to be prosecuted. They don't bother about it because they have taken a decision that that is how they want to live their life. So what are we trying to say in essence? We have, the Nigerian government have to devise another way of putting an end to insecurity in Nigeria. It is not, even as a matter of fact, if the Nigerian government get them arrested, what gives us the assurance is that this set of people will not still be returned back into the Nigerian security force. So if this set of people who have once been a boundary have been returned back into our military force, how do we do that this set of people will not infect the security structures of? So what I am trying to say in essence is that the Nigerian government have to be serious with it. If we are saying if we say we want to solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria, then we have to go back to the foundation. Even it has to go back to education. It boils back to education. It boils back to the economic life of the people. In a situation in a country whereby people does not have economic freedom, that people does not have access to the basic 3 needs of life, you now feel that this set of people will live a life that is just or will not go into banditry. You see, every of these areas that we talk about, the northern part of the country, some part of the southern or the eastern part, people who are submitting their life to living a life of crime, engaging in banditry, kidnapping, are people who are living in abject poverty. So if you are saying we want to solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria, we have to go back to how are we going to solve the problems of, or how are we going to solve the problems of economic challenges of the Nigerian people, creating educations for everybody. If we cannot put every of these things together from the foundation, every of these expenses that the president is trying to embark upon is a misplacement of priority.
All right, thank you. You've said it that camera cannot solve the issue.
It can't.
But do you think technology in any form can solve the issue of insecurity in Nigeria? Maybe
No.
Another form.
Technology can play a role. The AI camera can play a role, but there are still some institutional challenges that has to be addressed. For example, if the camera should capture a bandit or an attacker, should capture such person, the question is, if the person is eventually arrested, is the Nigerian system not going to return such persons into the Nigerian security, into the Nigerian army, all in the name that this person has said he has renounced being part of a bandit or what? So what we are trying to say, institutions have to work. If our institutions is not working, we cannot actually have a solution. Like I've always been saying many times, that Nigeria has laws. We have a lot of laws in this country that has been designed, even than the laws of the United States of America. But the question is, because every of our law, our acts are being copied from every of those advanced nations. But the question is that when we have picked these laws, are our institutions working? Are we adequately implementing every of our law? So if we are not implementing our law, no matter the level of technology we are deploying, it cannot solve the problem. So when we are deploying technology, we have to also ensure that our institutions are up and doing. Our institutions is doing the needful. And as we do that with time, let me break it down. When we put in place technology, we must understand that our institutions are to work. That is number 2. Number 3, we must now ensure that the economic life of the Nigerian people is put into consideration in whatever policy that we are putting in place.
Okay, now let's just say they detect the criminals. Do you think our security agencies are even ready to just come at the scene of the event? Do you think that they can easily respond?
No, the fact is that we are where we are today as a nation because our institutions are not working. And part of my own challenges and my own position over time is that we have always been running a party government, like Fela in his blessed memory has once said. We run a party system where somebody becomes something as a result of the influence or what he knows or the person he knows. People does not attain position as a result of their capacity, their strength, and that's where the problem comes in. The question now is that whatever the Nigerian system intends to do, the life of the economic life of the Nigerian people have to be put into consideration. Whatever we are putting in place, if we do not put in place what is going to develop the life, the capital development of every Nigerian people, if we are not putting that to consideration, automatically there is nowhere we are going in terms of surviving or overcoming these insecurity challenges in this country.
Okay, all right, thank you. You've been talking about the root of the problem. The root of the problem, they should go back to the root. What do you think is the root of the problem?
Now, the root of the problem is abject poverty from the north. When Boko Haram started, the Nigerian government was so docile that some set of people sat down somewhere and they were converging youths, all in the name of giving them food, passing knowledge to them through the academic Arabic dimensions. And this is how every of these things aggravated, and a lot of people were taking advantage of the system. In other advanced nations of the world, there are some responsibilities that must not be left into the hands of the Nigerian people. The government have to sit down and be responsible to the development, to the up and doing of every citizen of his country. And that is why I've always been saying that the chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution had to be looked up to, had to be enforced. What is in the chapter 2? The government of the country must be the one to provide the shelter. It must be a compulsory factor, a compulsory thing, that in Nigeria, it is the duty of the country to provide shelter, to provide clothing, to provide education for every Nigerian people. If every of these things is put in place, no Nigerians will have any cause to think he wants to go and get a help from somebody who is now going to use him or make him an instrument that is going to make him against the advancement of the country. So what is now the root problem? The root problem is abject poverty from the northern part of Nigeria. The government have to address it. Out of school children that we talk about, that we have out of school children in the northern part, is gradually coming towards the southwestern part of Nigeria. The government has to address the issue of out of school. And the government has to also declare a state of emergency on agriculture, that every Nigerian should be able to eat by themselves. Every Nigerian should be able to eat by themselves. Every Nigerian must not beg for food at any point, like what the government at the moment is doing. Whenever Nigerians are complaining, they say give them rice. Whenever we are pushing a demand, give them rice. We cannot continue to give people rice. We cannot continue to give people palliative when we all understand that we are not in a state of war. It is only if the Nigerian government can attest to it and say Nigeria is in a state of war and every Nigerians are refugees, that we can now say they should continue to give us rice at intervals. The government has to declare state of emergency on agriculture if truly we want to leave the stage at which we are into a new Nigeria that every one of us hopes for.
Okay, all right, thank you. You've mentioned that Nigeria, the government should make sure that these people, the out-of-school children are sent back to school, and also some should be empowered in agriculture. Do you think these people are ready? I mean the northerners. Do you think they are ready for this?
We are where we are because our laws has not been taken serious over time in Nigeria. When there are laws, let me quickly take us back a bit. During the time of Olowu, when Olowu projected that we want to have education has to be free, Olowu talked about it as at that time that the southwestern part of Nigeria does not have the expected finances to build concrete schools. Olowu had to deploy personnel who can build mud school. And after they have built every of those mud schools, he now made it a law that on so day the school will be resuming, and every child have to go to school. And every farmers as at that time said to their children, you have to go to school, because if you do not go to school, Olowu will come and arrest us. Everybody was afraid that if they do not send their children to school at that time, they will be arrested. And they brought their children to school. So what we are trying to say is that even if the northern part of the country said they do not want Western education, and if the government is serious with the issue of Western education, there is nothing that whatever tradition that they have adopted in the northern part can do to stop government from doing whatever the government intends to do. But part of our problem is that the government itself, it's not serious in enforcing what it ought to enforce as of today. And that is why you see, even in Ibadan, in Osogbo, Ibadan is very prominent with what I want to say. When you get to what's the name of this place? When we are going to Ibadan, the first place will be dropped. What's the name of that place? I've forgotten. You see every of this northern Iwo Road. You see every of these northerners. They will come and start holding you. Daddy, come and give me money. Come and they will be begging. You see them. There was a day my child was asking my mother and my wife. He asked and said, where are these people not having father? Are they parents? I said, they told my boy and said, you better go and start praying that God should strengthen your own parents. So this is where we are. It is basically because the government is not serious about what the government itself wants. We cannot be pampering ourselves if we truly want a new Nigeria.
Oh, you have said that this square peg in a round hole. This is not what we need currently in the country. Thank you so much since morning. Thank you for the enlightenment. Thank you so much. So that's all on today's program of issues that matter on City Mirror TV. We talked about insecurity, how the AI problem, and we should go back to the roots of the problem. And Mr. Emma, maybe a message to Nigerians and also government. You can just.
Well, the message I have for the Nigerian government is that Nigerian has a law. Nigerians has acts. We have prepared a lot of papers. We have a lot of documents that can enhance governance in Nigeria. Let every agencies, every status back to the law. When we go back to the law, we operate in line act and the laws of the country. We need to set Nigeria into the right direction that we all intend Nigeria should be. While my advice to the Nigerian people is that the Nigerian people should become more conscious, should be set to ask questions, and the Nigerian people, we should stop deceiving ourselves. There is a day for war, there is a day for revolution. The day for revolution is the election day where we are going to vote with our tongue. And whenever we are voting, we should vote with all forms of consciousness. We should desist from collecting money from politicians to do the right thing.
Thank you so much. Until we meet next week, I'm your host, Boluwatife Adedegun.